any dream into fruition is self-discipline.
Your job is to try to be the best basketball player you can be, right? To do that, you have to...
Failure is the crucible of learning. I'm curious if you had any further thoughts on that out there.
Doubting yourself, that's very dangerous.
It's my mentality.
99% of people are not willing to do what it takes to make their dreams come true. It's about your mind. It's getting command of your mind to be able to choose actions that are in your own best interest.
Competitive drive is far greater than anyone else that I've met. I think that I thrive on that. I think that's my biggest motivation.
If your job is to try to be the best basketball player you can be, right? To do that, you have to practice, you have to train, right? You want to train as much as you can, as often as you can. So if you get up at 10 in the morning, train at 11, right? 12, say 12, train at 12, train for 2 hours, 12 to 2. You have to let your body recover. So you eat, recover, whatever. You get back out, you train, start training again at 6. Train from 6 to 8, right? And now you go home, you shower, you eat dinner, you go to bed, you wake up, you do it again, right? Those are 2 sessions. Right, now imagine you wake up at 3, you train at 4, you go 4 to 6, come home, breakfast, relax, blah, blah, blah. Now you're back at it again, 9 to 11, right? You relax, and now all of a sudden you're back at it again, 2 to 4, and now you're back at it again, 7 to 9. Look how much more training I have done by simply starting at 4. So it makes sense to get up and start your day early because you can get more work in.
Self-discipline is the center of all material success. You cannot win the war against the world if you can't win the war against your own mind.
If you haven't failed, then you're not learning, or that's a paraphrase of the quote. New mistakes, as if failure is the crucible of learning. I'm curious if you had any further thoughts on that, and that maybe off-the-cuff comment you made out there.
There are many that I think it's there's like some entropic basis for this. Like there are many more ways to fail than to succeed. So you have to explore. Particularly like for a rocket, there's like 1,000 ways to think and fail, and like one way it can work. So you could have a lot of rocket failures to explore all the ways in which failure is not a big stigma. So it's like if you try hard and it doesn't work out, that's okay.
The center of bringing any dream into fruition is self-discipline.
A lot of people say I couldn't do it, which is more energy for me to try to do it. It just drives me when people say I can't do anything. I'm gonna certainly try to achieve it.
I think that I have the habits of working hard. I always been taught that to reach a goal that in life that you want, you have to work hard to get to it. And so far, I just have that in mind.
What do you associate with triumph?
Winning, all the time, winning.
Determination, what your motives are, what your ambitions were from the beginning. It's been a lot of soul searching in terms of it's easy to sit back and say, well, I've given my best. I'm tired. Somebody else got to do it or whatever. I didn't take that approach. I thought positive.
I hate plan B. And I tell you why. Because we have so many doubters, as I've said earlier, the no-sayers. We have so many of those people that say no and you can't do it, it's impossible. That is okay because we just turn off. Start doubting yourself. That's very dangerous. Because now what you're basically saying is that if my plan doesn't work, I have a fallback plan. I have a plan B. And that means that you start thinking about plan B, and every thought that you put into plan B, you're taking away now that thought and that energy from. Nothing wrong with failing. You have to fail in order to climb that ladder. There's no one that doesn't fail.
Sometimes you need to get knocked down before you can really figure out what your fight is and how you need to fight it. Sometimes you need to feel the pain and sting of defeat to activate the real passion and purpose that God predestined inside of you. God says in Jeremiah, I know the plans I have for you. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Graduating class, hear me well on this day. When you have reached the hilltop, and you are deciding on next jobs, next steps, careers, further education, you would rather find purpose than a job or a career. Purpose crosses disciplines. Purpose is an essential element of you. It is the reason you are on the planet at this particular time in history. Your very existence is wrapped up in the things you are here to fulfill. Whatever you choose for a career path, remember the struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose.
I believe that self-discipline is the definition of self-love.